Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today we have the news that Final Fantasy Endwalker, or Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, has been postponed in sales, trials, and is even thinking about postponing the content patches for Final Fantasy XIV because the game is overrun with players. You are liking the game too much. That's basically the problem. And if you are thinking, oh, that's weird, sounds like something I have heard a few weeks ago or a few days ago. Yeah, it's still an ongoing problem. And Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, has released a new article, which we will take a look at. Also, if you're wondering, I'm recording this live right now on my live stream, and chances are pretty high that I sometimes talk to my community and answer some questions there. So if you're like, huh? Who is he talking to? I'm also streaming at the same time. By the way, if you ever want to check me out, you can find me on trovo.live/chaosmole from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 a.m. ET. But let's have a look at the post. Hello, this is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. We apologize for ongoing congestion that has been occurring since early access and the official launch of Endwalker. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the start of early access, and players are still experiencing substantial congestion. Man, that they choose congestion as a word is just, for a not like English native speaker, horrible. When logging into the game, as we have new content set to release in upcoming patches, I'd like to provide you with several updates on our plans to address these issues. Additional game time compensation, TLDR. In response to this, we recently granted 7 days of game time, but now we will also be granting an additional 14 days. So in total, if you started to play Endwalker with early access and all that, you will get 3 weeks of extra game time, which is pretty good. Also very important, this will apply to all players who have an active subscription as of Tuesday, December 21st, which is next week. This is also where they are scheduling the release date for patch 6.01. Suspending delivery of package versions and temporary suspension of digital version sales. So what they are saying here is, if you have ordered Final Fantasy XIV somewhere, let's say on Amazon, and you're waiting for your package, that will not arrive for now. They will hold that back. And the same goes for the digital version. If you're trying to buy the digital version of Final Fantasy XIV and you are going to the shop, it will tell you, sorry, product is not available right now. There is a small little problem here, and that is when we are going to Steam and we are going to Final Fantasy XIV and we are going into the store page, you realize very quickly that you can still buy the stuff. Yes, you can still buy it because on Steam it's not easily deactivated. But as I stand this correctly, there might actually also be a chance that you cannot just enter the key anymore on the website. Even when you are buying the games on Steam, you are still getting a CD key for Final Fantasy XIV. You have to go to the official website and you have to register it there. So there is actually a chance now that that will not be possible. There will also suspend some of the advertisement due to the nature of how they were set up. So whenever you were going to a website and then you see some ad banners, they will not do that anymore. I'm not sure if that necessarily helps, but good luck. Free trial players are unable to log in outside of late night and early morning hours, and so we will also temporarily suspend new registration for the free trial. Sucks. It's not fun, and believe me, especially as a company, that is a blow. Like, you want more people, you want to make more money. So basically to tell people, sorry, we don't want your money, is not good. But that's all they can do right now, right? Expansion packs and collector's edition digital upgrades will continue to be available for existing players so that they may upgrade as needed. So that's very important to note. If you are somebody who already owns Final Fantasy XIV, but you didn't have a chance yet to upgrade to Endwalker, you can still do that. Don't you worry about it. Next big information is the error 2002 while waiting in login queues. I think everyone has had that already, that you were waiting in the queue for hours and hours to come, and then the game is like, oh, error 2002, bye. And you have to do it again. And most people don't do it again, they're just logging off because they're pissed. And they're saying, in regards to error 2002 that occurs during login queues, outside of causes related to unstable connections, we have confirmed a bug. This bug was part of a login-related program created back in Final Fantasy XIV version 1.0. Oh, that's never good. And thanks to the reports and tests carried out by many of our players, well, that's one way to put it, we were able to identify the cause of the problem. We apologize for not being able to identify the issue on our end, and thank you all for submitting detailed reports regarding this matter. Although the code for fixing this bug is already prepared, applying the fix will require patching the game client, which will be addressed in patch 6.01, scheduled for Tuesday, December 21st. As the issue occurs while waiting in the queue for a very long time, we considered releasing the patch ahead of schedule, but in the end decided to include it in patch 6.01, as there is already a lot of new code in the pipeline for the patch, and interrupting the process of verifying them might lead to other bugs. We apologize for the inconvenience and ask for your patience a bit longer. I understand that patching can be an interesting process. The chance of developers breaking something through a patch is there. We have seen this more than often in other games, and the last thing we need is like a game-breaking bug in Final Fantasy XIV. Let's be real here. Nobody wants another new world, right? Right. Upcoming patch schedule. Due to the high levels of congestion, we are aware that there has been a lot of discussions in the community about the release of Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage and patch 6.05, scheduled for Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. Regarding this, as long as there are no major issues, we plan to release the patch as scheduled. We understand that there are concerns about the world first races and first week progression, but patch 6.05 will add a number of new elements, such as the addition of a new elegant tombstone, the new crafting recipes, as well as the new treasure hunt dungeon, the Exitatron 6000. Many players are looking forward to content aside from high-end duties, and furthermore, considering the balance of the rewards and item levels from said content, we cannot withhold only Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage, and rebalancing this would delay the patch release by several weeks and would affect patch 6.1 and beyond. We regret to say this in the midst of a major congestion, but as I mentioned earlier, unless there are major issues, we plan to release the patch as scheduled. We ask you for understanding and cooperation regarding this matter. This must have been an absolutely tough decision, and I can see that there will be a good chunk of people who don't fully understand this, and they will be pissed. But I totally understand this. Final Fantasy XIV has always been a well-oiled machine when it comes to patches. They have deadlines they're most of the time keeping, and every time they have to postpone something, that also means that everything else will be postponed as well. And to make that decision and then postpone everything else as well, just for word first, basically for bragging rights, which, don't get me wrong, is very important for a good chunk of players there, but the majority of Final Fantasy XIV players are not there for the bragging rights. So to tell 90 or 95% of your player base, sorry, we have to postpone your content because for the other 5%, that's not gonna fly. Nobody will like that. So it's a tough decision. It's not a fun decision. And I can see that there will be some people being pissed about this. But for most people, this is the better choice. And again, I'm not saying that this is a good choice. It sucks, absolutely. But you have to make a decision like, who do you want to service here? The main player base or a certain percent of your player base who's just there for the bragging rights? You know? Like it's a tough decision to make because you don't want to piss off anyone. You want to make everyone happy. And Final Fantasy XIV has been trying to do that for years. But sometimes you have to make tough calls. They are also talking about the data centers here, which they're working on, but it will take some time, right? So, yeah, especially if you were waiting for some new servers to pop up in some new regions, it would take even longer. And one of the biggest problems right now is not just the COVID-19 pandemic, but they actually have a physical shortage of server equipment. As you might have heard, right now we have a worldwide chip shortage. Like everything which needs a computer chip is running low on supplies. And yes, believe it or not, servers need computer chips. I know it's crazy, absolutely crazy when you think about it. But yeah, like this would take even longer. And they're hoping that they will provide some sort of roadmap by the end of January 2022. So it will be a while. Inquiries about errors triggered by specific payments. Since the release of Endwalker, we have received a large number of inquiries from players who have been unable to play the game due to errors which occur during payment or code registration. After reviewing the details of the inquiries, we found that the accounts involved are being accessed from the same environment as those used by a group of people who believe to be providing suspicious services. Oh my. As a result, these accounts were terminated to be using suspicious services that temporarily access user accounts to log in and make payments or create accounts on their behalf, and were blocked from payment and code registration as part of fraud prevention. Such suspicious services might have a history of theft or other fraudulent credit card activities, and we cannot do anything other than safeguard against such activity and cannot restore those accounts. As a reminder, we ask you to refrain from using such suspicious services for your own good. If you are wondering what they are talking about leveling servers, gold servers, and especially the leveling servers, you have to give your account data to those companies who provide that service. And yeah. We will continue to strive to provide our utmost support so that everyone around the world can play comfortably. We sincerely apologize for the inconveniences caused by the ongoing server congestion. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation. So they're giving you some more extra playtime. I know that's never really helping. Like, it is a nice gesture, and I think that's good. But people want to play the game. That's what they want. They want to play the game, right? So for most people, it's not even that they cannot play the game and they have to pay for it, or they have already paid for it, right? It's more like, I just want to play the game. I just want to play it. So it's not even like a money issue at this point. But nice that they're doing it. I'm already happy that they're working on the error 2002, because this is one of the biggest problems I have right now and why I stopped basically trying to log in into Final Fantasy XIV for over a week now. Because every time I do that, I have a very high chance that I get the error, and then I'm getting kicked out of a 6-hour long queue. And that's no fun. And I know it's not my internet. Like, my internet is stable as it can get. So, good that they're working on this. We will see how long the suspension works and how much that really helps, because I have a feeling that most of the people who are already congestion the servers, they're already in there. They're already there. They're not trying to buy the game. They have the game and they clog up the servers. So, will it help? Well, we will see about that. And with the upcoming patch schedule, as I already explained, it's a shitty call to do. Nobody wants to do that. But if you have to make the decision that 90 or 95% of your player base has to wait, or only 5% might get damaged in the process, you take the smaller hit. As shitty as that is, believe me. I have a lot of friends who have been not very happy that they couldn't play that much in the last few weeks, and they're fearing for server first, word first, and whatnot. I was like, yeah, I get that. I totally do. But with that said, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're on your way out and you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to see more gaming news, more videos to Final Fantasy XIV, more tips and tricks for new games, and also reaction videos, you can all find them on my channel, and I would appreciate if you also consider to subscribe to the channel. With that said, stay safe, and I hope I see you next time.